we're going to do some of these questions on here. So I'm going to start with this right here. It says the distance to the park from your home is 1/10 kilometers. What's the distance in meters? So first thing we're going to do is we are going to look at the conversion chart and see what it says about kilometers and meters. And it says 1 kilometer is equal to 1,000 meters. So I'm going to set up a conversion in a proportion with kilometers and meters. And it doesn't matter which one you put on top and which one's on bottom, as long as you put the correct numbers with the correct labels. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put these labels, the conversion as one of the ratios. So the 1 goes with the kilometers and the 1,000 goes with the meters. Then it tells me I have 1/10 kilometers, so I'm going to put the 1/10 there, and I'm solving for meters. Now you can always do cross products. Okay, if I do that, that's going to give me 1x, which we know is just x, and then I have to do 1,000 times 1/10. Now remember, if I'm doing 1/10 times 1,000, anytime you're multiplying by a power of 10 like that, I'm just going to count the zeros. How many zeros are in 1,000? There's 3. So that means I'm going to move the decimal point 3 places. And it is going to get bigger, so I'm going to move it in this direction. 1, 2, 3. And I have to put zeros to hold that spot. So that would make that 100. And remember, 1x is just x. So that means x equals 100 meters. I'm going to do this next one here. It says that Paxton is making pizza dough. To make one pizza, the recipe says to use 300 milliliters of water. How many liters of water does Paxton need? So if I look at my conversion chart, it tells me that 1 liter is 1,000 milliliters. So I know that's going to be one of my ratios. So I'm going to use liters and milliliters. And so again, 1 liter is 1,000 milliliters. I got that directly from that chart. Now my other one, I know I have 300 milliliters, so that's going to go there, and my x goes there. And a lot of times just setting up, doing cross products helps you if you're not sure if you're going to multiply or divide. The cross products will help you figure that out. So if I do that, I'm going to get 1,000x equals 300, which gives me an equation that I can solve. So I'm going to rewrite it over here so I have a little bit more room. I have 1,000x equals 300. And to solve that equation, I'm going to divide both sides by 1,000. And that gives me x equals. Now remember, when I've got zeros like that on both the top and the bottom, I can cross out a 0 on the top and bottom as long as I cross out the same number on both. So that's going to give me 3/10, which is just 3/10. So my answer is going to be 3/10 liters. This next one, on Tuesday, Sarah earned $18 for 3 hours of babysitting. Getting paid the same rate, she earned $108 for babysitting on Friday. How many hours did Sarah babysit on Friday? So we've got rates. We're going to use a proportion. And we're talking about $18 for 3 hours. So we're going to label our proportion dollars and hours. So I know I have $18 for 3 hours, and I want to know $108 for X hours. Then you can solve it from there. I'm going to not work that one out because I want you to work that one out. I'm going to go ahead and go to the next problem. Asher is training his turtle to compete in turtle races. The turtle race course is 14,000 kilometers long. Which proportion can be used to determine the length of the turtle race course in meters? So I know we're talking about kilometers and meters. So here's what we're going to do. Sometimes it's about test-taking strategies, right? So kilometers and meters, I'm going to look at my conversion chart, and it tells me 1 kilometer is equal to 1,000 meters. So I know for my 1 should be representing kilometers and my 1,000 should be representing meters. So I'm just going to come over here to every time I see the 1, I'm going to label that kilometers. And every time I see 1,000, I'm going to label that meters. And C doesn't even have the right numbers. Now I know 14 hundredths is kilometers. So every time I see 14 hundredths, I'm going to label it kilometers. And then with my X, that's going to be meters. So I'm going to label that. Now, one thing I need my labels. My labels cannot be diagonal from each other. So if I look here, I have kilometers on top, but then kilometers on bottom. That's a big no-no. So I cannot do that. So that is not my answer. On this next one, I have kilometers and kilometers and meters, and technically you can do that. But the problem is that kilometers, when my kilometers is 1, the meter should be 1,000 with it, and it's not. So this cannot be it. But notice on D, I have meters on top, kilometers on bottom, kilometers on bottom. And then the 1 and the 1,000 go together because it's 1 kilometer is 1,000 meters. So those are together. So my answer is D. All right, looking at number 5. Brenda counted 20 red cards, 20 black cards, and 40 blue cards in a deck of cards. What is the ratio of red cards to other cards? So I'm talking about red to the other would be not red. How many red cards are there? 20. And how many are not red? 60. I can simplify that. I can do that. That's really just dividing by 10. Okay, it looks like a trick, but the math behind it is I'm dividing by 10 to simplify that ratio. Now I have 2/6. I can divide those both by 2, and I'm gonna get 1/3, so 1 to 3. So my answer is B. Looking at this, it's asking for the proportion. So it says Anthony found a street vendor selling flowers. For $4, a customer can get 15 carnations. If Anthony spent $12, which 2 equations can be used to determine C, the number of carnations he bought? So first of all, I know that $4 is going to go with the 15 carnations. So every time I see 4, I'm going to put a dollar sign because that's representing dollars. And then that should go with 15 carnations. So 15, I'm going to put a C. Now it says that Anthony spent $12. So my 12 should be dollars. I don't even know where B is not it. Let's see, $12, $12, $12. And then that's when we're trying to figure out C, the carnation. So C is just C. If I look on this first one, I have dollars right here, but then look, the colors that should be together are not together. They're diagonal. We can't do that. So that one's out. We already got rid of B. Looking at C, we have money and money are diagonal from each other. Money, the labels cannot be diagonal. So that's out. C, we have cost or carnations on top with carnations, and then money with money. And the colors that should go together, they go together. And D, money on top, carnations on bottom, and carnations on bottom. And notice that when the $12 goes with the C carnations and $4 goes with the 15 carnations. So my answer is going to be D and E. Gina's dog weighs 10.5 pounds. There are 16 ounces in 1 pound. How much does her dog weigh in ounces? So I have the labels pounds and ounces. Which is LB and OZ. And it tells me 1 pound is 16 ounces. I remember that because 16 kind of looks like LB. And then I know I have 10.5 pounds. I can write that as 10 and 5/10. And then I want to know how many ounces, so that's X. Now I could do cross products. 1x, and then I have to multiply 10 and 5/10 times 16. Remember, when multiplying decimals, you do not have to line up the decimals. So 6 times 5 is 30. Carry that 3. 6 times 0 is 0. Plus 3 is 3. 6 times 1 is 6. I'm going to add a 0. I'm done with that. 1 times 105 would be 105. I'm going to add it up. And I get 1680, and I count my decimal places. There's 1 in the factors, so 1 in the product. So that's 168 equals 1x is just x. So my answer is 168 ounces. This next problem. Okay, it says, on a 16-acre golf course, Paul used 64 pounds of grass seed to keep the course green. At this rate, how many pounds of grass would be needed for a 12-acre course? So we're talking about acres and pounds and acres and pounds. So I am going to, this is not a conversion because it's just a rate. Okay, we're not trying to, because acres aren't going to be turned into pounds. They're two different things. So I'm going to make a proportion with acres and pounds. So it told me 16 acres is 64 pounds. So I'm going to put those together. And then I want to know the pounds, so there's my X, for 12 acres. Then from there, you can do cross products, or you can look for a relationship between two ratios. For example, I know that 16 times 4 is 64. So I could say 12 times 4 is 48, so X equals 48. Now, if I would have done cross products, I would have gotten the same thing. Okay, this next question, I'm not going to solve it, but I'm going to help set it up. Bluebell Ice Cream charges $17.88 for 3 cartons of vanilla ice cream. How much would 2 cartons cost? If I was going to set this up with a proportion, I'm talking about our money in the cartons. So that's exactly what I'm going to label this. Now, $17.88 goes with 3 cartons, and I want to know how much money, so I don't know that, for 2 cartons. And from there, I could do cross products. Now, some people have said, can I just figure out what 1 carton cost and then multiply by 2? Absolutely. So you could do $17.88 divided by 3 to get the cost of 1 carton, and then multiply that by 2 to figure out the cost of 2. You'll get the same answer. Okay, I'm gonna skip to number 12 here. The Markham family drove 160 miles in 5 hours. What was their rate in miles per hour? Y'all, when I have this, it's asking for the rate in miles per hour. It's asking for a unit rate. This gives you a division problem and tells you the order to do it. It's literally saying miles divided by hours. So I'm going to do 160 miles divided by 5 hours. So I'm going to do 160 divided by 5. 5 will go into Doesn't go into 1. It goes into 16 3 times, which is 15. Subtract, I get 1. Bring down my 0. That's 2. And I get 32. So that means my answer is 32 miles per hour. Okay, number 13 is a lot more work. That one, it's a harder one, but it's just more work. It's not as hard as much it is just kind of tedious, a lot of work here. The table shows the ratio of people who ate a certain type of lunch to the total number of people who ate lunch. So turkey sandwich, 1 to 3. So 1 out of 3 people ate a turkey sandwich. Vegetarian sandwich, 1 out of 6 people had. Chicken sandwich, 4 out of 15. Salad, 7 to 30. It says a total of 840 people ate lunch. Which statement is true? Well, I'm going to need to figure out how many people ate each thing. So I'm going to be setting up proportions. So I'm going to start with a turkey sandwich. So turkey sandwich, turkey over total. I know that 1 out of 3 people ate that. So I want to know how many would that be out of 840 people. So I can do cross products. And I know that's going to make me get 3x equals 840. So I'm going to divide by 3 on both sides to figure out what that is. So I'm going to do 840 divided by 3. 3 goes into 8 twice, which is 6. I subtract. I get 2. Bring down my 4. Goes into 24 8 times, which is 24. Now this 0 is still here. I can't just get rid of it. So I'm just going to bring it up. So that's 280. So that means 280 people had a turkey sandwich. Now I'm going to figure out how many people had a veggie sandwich. So I know it was 1 out of 6. So I'm just going to write veggie over total. 1 out of 6 equals x over 840. And I can see that I'm going to end up dividing again because I'll have 6x equals 840. So I'm going to do 840 divided by 6. 6 goes into 8 once, which is 6. I subtract, I get 2. 6 goes into 24 4 times, which is 24. But remember, I have this 0, so 6 goes into 0 0 times. So that's 140. Now for my chicken sandwich. Okay, for my chicken sandwich, I'm just going to put CS out of my total. That's 4 out of 15 equals x over 840. So if I do cross products, I'm going to do 4 times 840 equals 15x. So let me do that over here. 840 times 4. That's 0. 4 times 4 is 16. Carry the 1. 32 plus 1 is 33. So I have 15x equals 3360. So now I have to solve by dividing both sides by 15. So 3360 divided by 15. So sometimes it helps to do the little like tic-tac-toe chart of your multiples. I'm only going to go this far because I think that's all I'm going to need to go. 15 does not go into 3. The closest I can get to 33 without going over is 30, which is multiplying it by 1, 2. So that's 30, which is multiplying it by 2. I subtract, I get 3. Bring it down. 15, the closest I can get to 36 is 30, which is multiplying it by 2. Subtract, I get 6. Bring down my 0. The closest I can get to 60 without going over is 60, which is multiplying it by 4. So my answer is 224. So now I'm going to do the same thing for the salad. So the salad, I have 7 out of 30. Equals x over 840. So cross products, that's going to give me 30x equals, and I got to do 840 times 7. I'm running out of room here. 840 times 7. 7 times 0 is 0. 7 times 4 is 28. Carry the 2. 7 times 8 is 56 plus 2 is 58. So I have 5,880. Now I've got that equation that I can solve by dividing both sides by 30. So I'm going to do 5,880 divided by 30. 30 doesn't go into 5, but it goes into 58 once, which is 30. Subtract, and I'm going to get 28. Bring down my 8. 30 goes into 288. Well, 3 goes into 28 9 times for 27, so this will be 9, which is 270. Subtract, and I get 18. Bring down my 0. 30 goes into 180. Well, 3 goes into 18 6 times, so that will be 6. So that means x equals 196. I know, that was a lot of work, and we're not even done. So now I'm going to go back to this, and I'm going to see what I have here. It says turkey sandwich. I'm just going to kind of plug in these numbers I had for all of these different things. So I'm just going to plug in, yeah, just the numbers here. So 280, and then chicken sandwich was 224. Salad was 196. Chicken sandwich was 224. Okay, now I'm going to go back and like say, okay, are these true, false? Half as many people ate a turkey sandwich as ate a vegetarian sandwich. So that would mean that turkey would have to be half a vegetarian. Well, is 280 half of 140? No, it's the opposite. So this is false. 1/4 as many people ate a vegetarian sandwich as ate a salad. That means 196 divided by 4 would be 140. That's not true. There were 56 more people who ate a turkey sandwich than a chicken sandwich. So that means turkey has to be more, right? So I could do it by subtracting, or I could say, okay, well, is a chicken sandwich, the 224 plus 56, is that going to equal the turkey sandwich? So let's see. 280, yes, that is true. There were 28 more people who ate a salad than ate a chicken sandwich. Well, 196 plus 28 is 224. But it says 28 more people ate a salad than a chicken sandwich. That would mean salad would have to be bigger than a chicken sandwich and less people ate a salad. So that is false. So my answer is C. The ratio of boys to girls in Miss Euler's class is 3 to 4. If there are 35 total students in the class, how many boys are in the class? So if I write my labels, let's just say for a minute, I'm just like, okay, boys to girls. So I write boys to girls is 3 to 4 equals boys to girls. 35 total students in class, how many boys? But wait a minute, is 35 the girls? No, it says 35 is the total. So I don't have the right labels. I'm gonna need what as my labels? Boys in total. So boys in total I have 3 boys, but that's not out of 35 people. If I have 3 boys to 4 girls, let's think about that. That's 3 boys and 4 girls. How many people is that total? When I have 3 boys and 4 girls, that's 7 people total. So this is going to be 3 out of 7 equals x over 35. Now I know 7 times 5 is 35, so I could just do 3 times 5. And I'm going to get 15. So x equals 15 boys. The ratio of boys and girls in the school is 5 to 3. If there's a total of 376 in the school, then how many boys are there? Well, this is just like the other one. When it has order of boys to girls like that, it tells you the order. That's the order that this is. So this is boys and this is girls. So it's giving me a part-to-part relationship, but asking me a part-to-whole. So I've got boys and girls, and then that makes the total. So there's 5 boys and 3 girls. That's how many people total? 8. So to set up this proportion, I am going to say boys in total will be my labels. So that's 5 out of 8, because it's not 5 boys with 376 total. It's 5 boys when there's 8 people total. So now I'm going to figure out how many boys when I have 376 total. And then I can do cross products, or I can look for the relationship between 8 to 376. I'm going to just do one more problem from here, and that is this last one here. To make paint, Susan mixed 4 cups of white paint to every 3 cups of red paint. Select the correct answer in each row that shows the possible value of W, the number of cups of white paint Susan uses, and R, the number of cups of red paint. So white to red is 4 to 3. Well, obviously 4 to 3 is 4 to 3. Now I want to know, is that equal to 20 to 6? Well, 4 times 5 is 20. Is 3 times 5 6? No. So that's incorrect. Okay, let's do 4 to 3 to 7 to 6. Well, 3 times 2 is 6, but 4 times 2 is not 7. That is incorrect. 4 to 3 to 6 to 8. And I'm just going to put a little line through that equal sign because it's not equal. This is actually swapped. Okay, if it was 8 to 6, that would be true, but these are not equivalent because you're not multiplying to get that. So that's incorrect. 48 to 36, so 4 to 3, and then 48 to 36. This is saying times 12, and this is saying times 12. So therefore, it is equivalent.